Exit surveying is one of the most powerful tools a hotel can use to determine if the hotel is functioning properly, efficiently, and taking care of their guests. This screencast is entitled Exit Survey for the Condo Hotel. It measures performance, and there are two choices a hotelier can make. I call them in this screencast the Cutting Edge, which is an email program that has become very popular in the last decade, where emails are sent out to guests after their departure, and an extensive survey is provided. Usually, as we'll discuss, about 30% of guests fill those surveys out. Also, there is what I call the traditional exit survey, something that I was involved in heavily since 1994. And that would be presenting a guest who is checking out at the front desk with an exit survey while the hotel front desk agent is preparing a folio for the guest. And we'll go through that. Usually, if that's done correctly, you can actually get a 65% participation rate. By the way, before I go into this, exit surveying should be used in evaluating performance along with mystery shopping, and also analyzing traveler opinions and AAA star ratings. Those are usually the three evaluation methods used in hotel agreements or hotel management agreements. This is one of those. Exit surveys are an important and necessary tool in the condo hotel business. Here you can see both of these surveys. The one to the left is the traditional or old school, presented at checkout. You can see it's very simple. I actually learned this from the manager at the Waldorf Astoria in 1994. His name was Rene Ballin, and I became very enthusiastic about it once I observed how well they did with these, and I'll go into that in a little bit. To the right side is a group of areas that the email surveys get into, and it's, like I said, it's very extensive. The first question, it's hard to see, is how did we make you feel? How was the hotel staff? Your overall stay, room renovations, arrival, housekeeping, and so forth. Exit surveys provide many benefits. First of all, they provide unit owners in a condo hotel with confidence that a property is well run. For those of you familiar with condo hotels, this is very important, as I'll get into later. Oftentimes, you will have owners, for whatever reason, put out information that is either half true or totally false. This gets people a little crazy, and so by using exit surveys and newsletters, you can take a stance and get correct information out in communication. Number two, usually exit surveys are part, as I said, of the hotel management agreement, along with the two other evaluation methods that I've already mentioned, and they help create the equation that determines the incentive bonus to the professional management company. And three, the exit surveys provide all the staff with real-time results on how they and their hotel is performing in the guests' eyes. By sharing this information with your staff, you're allowing them to take ownership. To the left is the tally that an independent would put together using the traditional method, and where everything is tabulated, and this summation is provided to the general manager, provided to anyone that the general manager wishes to see it. I used to have it handed out to all my department heads. And let me get into the verbiage on this. So this is the traditional method. Now, the front desk agent requests that the exiting guest fill out the survey while the folder was being prepared for checkout. I'm sorry if I'm being redundant. It provides immediate results. Usually an independent picks up the surveys that are in a sealed envelope at weekend, and only he or she will open those, and again they compile and tabulate those and put them into the form you see at the left. You have a 65% participation rate if done correctly, and that is a very, very powerful number. The problem with this survey is you're limited to a certain number of questions. We purposely only put 5 questions or 6 questions at the top. We want the exiting guest to not feel overwhelmed when he's handed a survey. We let him check whether the hotel has met, exceeded, or fallen short of expectations. We want to make it as simple as possible. We want him to fill it out. And as I said, this is what I learned at the Waldorf, and it's an effect. It was actually copied from their format, and it is the right amount, and we do get so many people that respond. The emails do get much more extensive and give you much better feedback. The questions that we ask can be changed. So if you have a banquet in-house or a heavy food and beverage event in-house, a citywide event, you can change questions to ask those questions that you know have relevance in the hotel at any given time period. You leave space for guest comments. They're not shown here, but guests do write, and if they're unhappy especially, they write extensively. And so you do discover things like dripping faucets and things like that that you might not discover otherwise, perhaps for weeks on end, if a housekeeper or a supervisor doesn't pick it up. You can now have the guest fill this out either on paper, iPad, or a laptop right at the front desk. And I've gone over that it is independently tallied, allows for immediate follow-up, gone over already, and so we've gone over all of that. The email method after departure, it's an extensive exit survey. The results are a little delayed, but people, managers and supervisors are given usernames and passwords. They have access to it the minute it's available. And although the participation is much less, you are getting so much more information that really pinpoints many areas in your hotel. It really also is an exceptional report and really lets you dig into what's happening. Greater insight, of course, as mentioned, and as you'll see in a few minutes, comparisons are provided to similar properties, whether luxury, 3-diamond, and so forth. So you can see how your competitors are doing compared to what you're doing. Gives you a month-by-month analysis and those comparisons to each query. And you can see there are questions, and I highlighted one question, which is the only one that I'm going to review here because it's so extensive, and it says, how did we make you feel? Pointed questions enable owners and operators to identify specific areas that are exceeding and or falling short of expectations, and so we've gone over this. Okay. Traditional methods and results. You can see this particular survey from X Hotel. It's a real survey. I believe it's an Art Deco hotel on Ocean Drive from March 2007. You can see that the percentage survey was 75.7%, huge amount. The overall impression of the hotel showed it at 83.4% of the people surveyed found that the hotel exceeded or met expectation. There was a renovation going on at this time, and 16.6 of the people felt it fell short, and that's something that should be investigated. It could be, though, because of what was going on at that time. The front desk experience is always high. It usually runs from 92 to 94%. This survey shows a 91.7, so they're on target. The comfort of the beds in this hotel obviously is a problem at 84.9%. The remainder is a lot of people who had difficulty with their mattresses. Now, in a condo hotel where an owner coordinator would be addressing owners and speaking to them about replacing or refurbishing, this is a very powerful tool that he or she can use and present to them, showing 1, 2, 3 people complaining about the comfort level of a mattress. And I think it would be hard for an owner to say not to do anything once they're presented with this compelling information. Housekeeping, very bad in this case at 83.7. It would require follow-up. Oftentimes guests do put the number of the room that they stayed in, email contacts, so you can follow up with them. But like I said, this is a very high number, and it really warrants investigation. It also pinpoints specific housekeepers. You can pinpoint the room, who cleaned the room, and like anything else that you're tracking, you can see trends, and you can see housekeepers who may not be performing or may be having a bad week. The restaurant experience, also subpar. Now, usually restaurants, from my experience, and since I've done over 35 hotels with these surveys, restaurants usually come into the high 80s. Here, you're in the mid 70s, not especially good. The restaurant manager needs to be talked to about what's happening in this restaurant. We can see the majority of customers are first-time visitors, and we can see at the bottom of the survey staff members who have performed over and above the call of duty. Sorry about that. Let's see if I can get this back. Okay. The email method, each of the listed areas is explored in depth. In this particular case, we will be going through one question on how did we make you feel, and the following pages will explore those email surveys. Here we can see the first piece of information that's put out by this company, and you can see how the blue square that says 88.8% would represent the hotel that is being surveyed on its total customer satisfaction. Now, the lines above it represent region results. You can see that the hotel being surveyed is far under the region. Also, personal luxury collection, so specific hotels that are in the same category. And so you can see that this hotel would be underperforming. And you can see the data that would be available to you below the graph. You can see a month-by-month analysis, and you can see that in this particular case, for whatever reason, from February to March, competition in providing overall satisfaction went down. Not quite sure I understand that. Next report that's provided, this is really a summary report, and it deals with each specific questions, not into detail, but it provides the user with an overall score of satisfaction. So how did we make you feel? 87.9%. Hotel staff, 92.5% is a very good score. About the overall stay, 88.6%, and so on and so on and so forth. This is the first report that deals with one specific question of how did we make you feel. And they break it down into whether you felt welcome, comfortable, important, pampered, or inspired. And you can see the results are fairly high in either the low 92 or high 80% range. Traditional versus email surveying. Both methods of collecting data provide good results. Trends have more hotels moving towards the email and electronic method of evaluation, but either or would be a great addition to any property. The latter, the email surveying, provides exceptional detail and hones in on areas. We've gone through that. And when comparing the participation, the traditional hotel, as we've said, is far superior. In the traditional method, it's more important. Well, that's not true. In the traditional method, it is very important to follow up with guests to understand better why the hotel is not meeting expectations. And normally, if you do follow up, guests appreciate it. And rather than use the word normally, I'll say many guests appreciate it so much that they might consider coming back to the property. How does the condo hotel benefit from exit surveys? Well, first of all, it is a proactive approach, and it is a good idea for me. It is my belief that the hotel operator should be transparent and share results, whether good or bad, with owners, especially if they're striving to do better. Exit surveying will ultimately reflect in better results. Many condo hotel owners are susceptible to inaccurate reports by other owners through email strings. Condos are very interesting, a very interesting petri dish, maybe of society, but there always seems to be a few troublemakers, and these people in almost every condo or condo hotel I've observed put out false information or half-true information. So it's important that the hotel program fights back. And you do that in what we said: provide transparency, let the people, the whole population, see how well we're doing. You can increase the size of your hotel program and bring more units aboard if unit owners that are not in the program see how hard you're trying and the effort you're putting in and the results that are coming through. Communication always is imperative. I see that as the greatest mistake in condo hotels. Silence is never good. You must communicate. The board of directors must play offense, and they must avoid playing defense, and that's, again, in that light. And very important also that exit surveying is controlled by an independent. It carries more weight. Someone should safeguard them if they're being picked up, or well, that's my point. Involve managers and staff, very important. Again, I picked this up at the Waldorf, and it was an incredible idea. It serves hotels that are exit surveying well to create a task force of managers and supervisors, and include several staff members from each department on a weekly basis. Now, these meetings are 40 minutes at most, and they review all results of exit surveys. Try to rotate your hourly employees. You want everyone to have an ownership interest in what's going on. You want them to report back to their co-workers. This is great for improving results. Empower the task force to provide solutions to problems, and give them to the general manager in writing for consideration. Recognize positive results. Recognize people who are recognized on the exit surveys. It goes a long way, and it's appreciated. You will absolutely see changes on the property in function and attitude towards guests once your exit survey program is up and running. We've discussed changing questions. That is important. And embrace your weaknesses and take constructive corrective actions with staff. The exit surveys will flush out problems that you were unaware of, and over time will eliminate those problems. I don't know how to go back, but in closing, provide unit owners with immediate and relative feedback on the care of the property. This is what they do for you. It evaluates staff performance and pinpoints weaknesses, uncovers situations that might not be detected if left to the staff to find. I always say dripping faucets. We had the lady tabulating our exit surveys send all comments related to maintenance directly to the chief engineer so that they can deal with problems immediately. Likewise, Send all problems to housekeeping where a housekeeping issue may exist and let her deal with it quickly. Provide staff with immediate feedback and recognition. The task forces we mentioned are exceptional and gets everyone involved in taking ownership. Provide the owner coordinator in the condo hotel with feedback that supports his or her request to replace furniture, fixture, and equipment. And this is another great benefit, provides the sales director or the sales team with an exceptional resource to show groups that are considering the hotel how well the hotel is performing independently. We used to bring books out showing the actual surveys and then the tabulations, and that would be very impressive to someone that would consider bringing a large group. Exit survey programs, when used correctly, can be the most powerful tool that management can use in improving and training staff. That pretty much, I want to take 1 second because I skipped over this page, and I think it's an important page. Many of the hotels and condo hotels that I've gone into are reluctant to begin exit surveying. There is always a hesitancy. A general manager is always a little nervous. I have construction, I have work being performed, I have, there are so many different reasons not to begin. We're not ready yet, let's start next month. Your guest is experiencing your hotel now, your guest is going to make traveler opinions now. Now is the best time to start this. You want to embrace potential problems and you want to know how your guests feel about those problems. Also, if you do have construction going on, then we call it, or I used to call it, the Disney effect, where you want to keep your guests away from the noise and from the dust. And if you're doing that effectively, the guest appreciates it, and you'll see that reflected. Of course, during these time periods, your exit surveys are not going to reflect as strongly, but that's to be expected. You'll make a note and you'll say, well, this is why we may have gone down in an overall hotel question of did we meet or exceed expectation. One of the keys to bringing in business, I always say, is the repeat guest channel. We spend millions of dollars bringing guests to our hotels when the easiest channel to try to enhance is repeat guests. They're there in our hotel. Bringing them back through a call is very, very inexpensive, and it's simply a call to your reservations operator. I have seen hotels with 22% of their entire business being repeat business. So that's what you should strive for. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. Hope it wasn't too long, and I thank you for watching.